we got to go and listen to what Sean Payton said about the benching of Russell Wilson. Then we're going to give our thoughts because there's a lot of stuff going on right now in the media and everybody's talking about why he's being benched. And I'm sure you guys heard it. Let's go ahead and listen to the clip from Sean Payton and we'll give our thoughts.
Most of you know we made a change at quarterback. And I understand all the speculation and everything that surrounds a move like that. We're desperately trying to win and, get a spark offensively. All of us feel like, man, we didn't do well enough. One of the things we saw when we signed Stidham in the offseason was not only film from preseason games, but regular season games. And, he's a guy that, I'm anxious to see play. And if I didn't feel like he gave us the chance to win, then we wouldn't be making that move.
So this seems like that Sean Payton has a little bit of infatuation with Mr. Stidham being his new quarterback under center. I mean, that was his excuse. Oh, we know what we got. It's exciting. We saw what we saw. But Vic, from your perspective, since you're smirking already, what do you feel like this is? Why do you think they're benching Russell Wilson right now?
First of all, let me say, and the Oscar goes to Sean Payton. Man, that man told a bold-faced lie on national television, and he listen, he was very convincing. But let's talk about the real reason why this is happening. Russell Wilson is getting benched because if he's to be injured, the Broncos are going to have to pay him a good chunk of money, and they're not trying to do that right now. Secondly, they're trying to move on from him in March. They're trying to do everything right to pay him as least as possible. And that means that the next team that, he goes to, whatever he makes off of them, they're going to subtract that off of that amount. So again, they're trying to have Russell Wilson leave the building with the least amount of possible. I think, 39 million on the table right
Something
now?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's a lot, you got to team down. But secondly, Sean Payton, I think when he was talking about he meant himself, me. Because again, he's trying to win games, but I don't think it's with Stidham. Stidham is nothing to look forward to. We've seen him in the past. He's not going to win you any games. Again, we know what the move's about. We're trying to save money. We're trying to move on from Russell Wilson. We're trying to rebuild this team. We're trying to make it, as in the media, make it look as amicable as possible, make it seem like, it's performance-driven. We've seen the discussion with Payton and Wilson on the sideline this year. They were arguing, or I should just say Sean Payton was yelling at him. But Sean Payton was the one thing that the Broncos needed. I said last year, it was team 3 first, then went the Broncos. Then, Russell Wilson, that's the way he handled business. Payton came in, that wasn't the same story. He wasn't going to allow that to happen. He made comments about Nathaniel Hackett. Now, when you look back at those comments, Hackett, didn't perform well, but a lot of it wasn't on him now. You can put that blame on Russell Wilson, and you can do it confidently now. But going forward, I think it's a move that the Broncos had to make. I'm surprised that they did it because, again, there's so much on the table. There's so many variables that can happen from here to March. But, hey, applaud them for making the move. They weren't going to deal with it anymore. They had enough of Russell Wilson. And I know a lot of his ex-teammates are going to see this and pounce on it. A lot of people didn't like him when he was in Seattle. They made some comments when he went to Denver. And now, it didn't end well in Denver. It looks like it's not ending well in Denver. So, yeah, Sean Payton's comments, listen, he does what a coach does. He looked out for himself and his team, and that's what he's doing right now. So you got to applaud him for that and, applaud him for being strong enough to make that move, especially with a superstar player like Wilson.
Yeah, go ahead and give your thoughts, Sor, but I did want to say one thing. I absolutely agree with pretty much everything that you said. But I have my thoughts. I know we talked about it before. I just want to say I agree with you, Vic, and I'm going to expound on that when it's my turn because y'all know I'm a Russell Wilson guy, and I'm about to cook. Go ahead.
Kind of to reiterate what Vic started off with, of Sean Payton starting off with a bold white lie. This is the same dude who, and I'm pretty sure it was Jared Stidham, if not, it was a different backup quarterback, who did so bad at a practice that walked up to that man and said, "Hey, I can get you a job as a Walmart greeter." I mean, this is a dude that was carried by a Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees. And Russ hasn't even played that bad. He hasn't played great, but he's played mediocre enough to where, with what the defense had, because the defense didn't look this bad under Nathaniel Hackett. I'm not saying they should have kept Nathaniel Hackett. But defense didn't look this bad. So there was some switch. And again, kind of like what Logan said in the comments, this team went from trash. The Dolphins put 70 plus points on them to hold up now. They beat the Chiefs. They had, what was it, a 5-game win streak, which at the time was the longest in the NFL. And now they're back down to, what is it? Coach says booty butt.
Yeah.
I mean, this team has just been ups and downs, and it's just going to be disastrous. I can see the points where Sean Payton is saying, kind of from ownership, we're moving on from Russ, and I want my own quarterback. I mean, it's going to be interesting, but we've all seen Jared Stidham at Auburn. That dude, he sucked. One great game as or not the one great game, but he had a promising game as a Raider, and then just was complete ass the rest of the season. There is a reason why that man is a backup. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think Peyton's the answer, and I don't think Wilson's the answer. I feel like the Broncos they're in for a long, rough couple of years. Just treasure your Peyton Manning Super Bowl 50 highlights.
Yeah. It's a vast difference. I'll say this before you go, if you could let me just say one quick thing.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all like Source said, I don't think it's all on Wilson, because if you look at his stats, yardage wise, pretty much the same as last year, but the interceptions are down and the touchdowns are up. So Wilson has been playing better than he has last year. I think, it'll make another team happy, but yeah, they had to do what they had to do on that one.
I mean, Wilson is kind of a quarterback to where if you are a quarterback away, then yes, maybe you can make a trade for, or if you are bringing in a franchise quarterback and it's like, all right, we want you to kind of be the bridge, because he's 35. He doesn't got many years left. So he's kind of the bridge quarterback as well now at this point, to where if we draft a franchise quarterback, or if we're a quarterback away from the playoffs, we'll bring you on. Other than that, he's not going to be the franchise guy. And going with the Broncos, it's not all Wilson. Part of it is on Payton. Another part of it's on the GM and ownership. I mean, we all saw how happy the GM was in the press conference of being like, we just got freaking Russell Wilson. And that was the most excited they've been in 2 years.
But was that a sell? Was that another?
I think he was genuinely excited, because they were like, we got Russell Wilson. We've been waiting for a quarterback since Peyton freaking Manning.
But they were trying to deal with
they've still been waiting on a quarterback since Peyton freaking Manning. Just again, no bona fide wide receivers. Everybody's injured. There's just problems all over the place. Go ahead and go, Dante. Sorry to cut you off.
Nah, you're good. I just feel this whole situation is just all bound behind the Broncos saying, the new ownership especially, that we got enough money to do whatever. So if we want to cut them, we'll just take the bite on the back end and circumvent our way through the taxes and everything that's going to come with it, and we'll figure out a way to make this less than what we freaking owe him anyway. So they're going to figure out a way, and this is going to there must be something, a loophole in his contract somewhere, that if he does anything, causes any type of antics, that they're lawyered up real good right now. They're gonna try to find themselves on why they're not gonna be in the hole. I just feel that they
got Ace Attorney on their side.
Well, it seems like, I don't know, man. I don't want to say it's like a witch hunt, but here's what I will say: Russell Wilson is having a very good season, and nobody is really talking about it. If you're going to tell me this last game was on Russell Wilson, you are kidding yourself. The penalties, the bad play calling at the end of the game, the use of not using timeouts this whole season in the correct ways. Like, we've seen it time and time again. So you're going to sit here and tell me that you're going to bench Russell Wilson for it, and then pretty much just say, yeah, the last loss was on him. I don't want to take any responsibility for what happened. So he's the easy scapegoat because everybody hates Russ right now.
Russ is the scapegoat right now.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me. I mean, it's
and it's as sucky as it is to say it. It's easy to pin him. These are two different coaching staffs that he has not looked the best under, so it's easy to blame him.
He's still being blamed for last year's performance.
Yeah,
and he's being
even though last
year's
year
performance.
Time management was just as bad under a different coaching staff.
He's getting
coaching staff. Penalties and time management are still awful.
You know what I compare this to? Baker Mayfield in Cleveland.
Facts.
Yep.
That's what this reminds me of, like all over again. Doesn't matter what you did for us and how you improved. This new coach wants to send you out so he can get somebody younger in, and then just decide to pay Deshaun Watson, who's been in the league for almost 10 years now. We pay him all that money, and then for him to not even play half the season because he's hurt.
Not like any wounds, but Gardner Minshew with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Man, that still pisses me off.
We know, don't they? We know. But it's gonna be okay.
If we're gonna go defend Russ a little bit here, he's top 7 in touchdowns. He's top 6 in quarterback rating. And he's dealing with this with less weapons that he had on his team than previous years too, under a brand new coaching regime. And they're doing fine. And in a division that is anemic. The Chiefs are not what they used to be. They're the wounded animal of this division. When all of us up here collectively agreed that the Chiefs were probably going to run it again. And Matt Nagy is just he's not going to get the blame for this one. Everybody's easy scapegoat for that is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, even though the dude almost has 1,000 yards this year.
Matt Nagy has a shrine of Taylor Swift right now saying, thank you for saving my job.
And now it's Patrick Mahomes doesn't look the same without Eric Bieniemy. That might be true, but like it's not Pat's fault either. You know, there's a lot of finger pointing going on.
And to go on the opposite of that, if you're saying, clearly Eric Bieniemy, it goes back to the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Clearly it's because he doesn't have Eric Bieniemy. So then what does that say about Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback?
Well, I kind of
really the greatest.
They're gonna let the Raiders win this damn division.
That people want to go down. Is Patrick Mahomes really the number one guy in the NFL right now?
I honestly think it's just.
Don't you say Josh Allen? I know you want to say it.
No. I honestly believe that Travis Kelce has probably been injured since week 3, and he's been. I think that's the reason why they're mad at him. They know he's injured. Again, kudos to him for starting every game or as much as possible.
Yeah.
But they know he's injured, and then you have these antics off the field. You have the Taylor Swift thing. That's where I think where the issue's coming with, and also the fact that they can't use him as much as they want to, because you could see, he might have all those yards, but that was from the beginning of the season. The last 6 games hasn't been the same.
Well, I think more so the fact is, yes, Taylor Swift does deal with it for not for obvious reasons, but like he said on New Heights, he's talked about retirement. Every time like Jason's wife or kids, he's talked about how he wants to start a family. I mean, he's 31. He's ready to he wants to start the family. So, you've got all that stuff in mind now. You've got adult stuff that's not just your job playing football. And he's even talked about, there's just too many injuries. I'm ready to retire. He could potentially retire after this year.
I don't think he will, but it's just that they have a young receiving.
I don't think he will either. I do think it's a potential, though.
Yeah. They just had a young receiving core that got on late. Now they're coming to get together. You got Rice back there. Like, he's getting into things. Again, they can't use Kelce as they want to. But next season, guarantee the Chiefs are going to play way better.
Yeah, the Broncos are – just go back to them. They're just a confusing team. At this point in time, every team should pretty much damn near have a 1,000-yard rusher, and they don't. Jaleel McLaughlin had a pretty good couple of weeks. He slowed down. Russell Wilson is damn near the second leading rusher on the team, and he has more touchdowns than both of his running backs on the ground.
What, 3?
Yeah, it's 3.
Sutton, though. He's been the trustee.
He's been the only reliable wide receiver on that team.
Yep. Samaje Perine is the 3rd leading receiver on the team when they have Marvin Mims on that team. Like,
they don't.
Come on, man. Well, Marvin Mims is he's part of the headache from last game.
Yeah. Well,
making mistakes.
Say, did you guys see that one I forget which game it was. The one interview he was signing stuff with fans, and a fan said something about like his poor stat line. I think it was like 0 catches, whatever. And he's like, that's fine. They don't use me anyways. And then that was the end of that clip.
Okay, well, I hope your career is a wash now because you said that. Like, I mean, these young dudes are just shooting themselves in the head, man. I don't understand. Shout out to their defense. Their defense, I think, is still leading in turnovers, so that's a positive. But as far if you're just going to point the finger at Russell Wilson and to give a spark to your offense by starting Jarrett Stidham, with him leading in touchdowns on the ground and in the air, and being pretty much your whole entire offense outside of Cortland Sutton being available in the end zone. Yeah. I mean, I hope it works out, Sean Payton, but you're not showing people that you're this all-pro coach like everybody had you put up on the pedestal to be. You know what this is seeming like? Slowly but surely.
Just behind the Ravens, by the way, in takeaways. Ravens have 26, Broncos have 25.
Okay. Well, this is what this situation is seeming like, and Vicky can get on to your first question for us. This is seeming like when Tom Brady left Bill Belichick, and now we're having a conversation. Was it Bill or Tom? Now,
yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier.
Was it Drew or was it Sean?
I'm thinking it was Drew.
I think that's literally why I say when Sean Payton says we, he means him. He's saving himself. He's trying to win games. He knows that right now your best player is Russell Wilson. So by subtracting him and saying you're going to need a spark, you're not. You're killing the engine. There is no spark.
You have removed the spark plug. It will not work.
Facts. Yeah. So
I think it's very interesting. But I think the reason why they can do this too is if there is a team interested. Like I said, I mentioned before Atlanta. I always mention Atlanta because I think they're a quarterback away of being a good team.
Quarterback and a good coach, but yes.
I think Arthur Smith is. I think his relationship with Arthur Blank is just that. Hey, I'm happy to have this opportunity. Whatever you give me, I'm good with. I'll try the best with what I have. Instead of being that more vocal and saying, "Hey, I need better guys in here." I think that's the issue with him. But if he gets
got the guys, he doesn't use them.
I'll tell you.
Look at the quarterback. Look at that.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you one.
By the way, you still can draw a plays to them. If the quarterback fails, then that's the quarterback.
One team that would be a.
I'd rather see the quarterback fail than both the quarterback and the coach fail.
One team to be a 12-win team right now with Russell Wilson on it, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Jets?
No, the Jaguars.
Oh.
Yeah, it would be interesting. He has a good amount of receivers, healthy receivers. Jaguar has a good line, good running game.
Good tight end.
I would like to see how it worked out.
Yeah.